Welcome back to Building Bridges, a monthly show that brings together police and community members to make our city safer. I'm your host, Sandra Hughes. Now today we're talking with community members who are doing their part to build bridges between the police and members of the public. Joining me are Ruth and Charlie Jones and Captain Joe KIMMEL. Ruth and Charlie are a very energetic, I've had a ball talking to them, very energetic couple who host something called Grub for Peace. And Captain KIMMEL, I understand that you've been with the several grubs. First of all, I want to find out what the grub is.
Well, it started out as the Greensboro Grub, and we still have that once a month. And that's a community dinner that we host, and he cooks.
Yep, bring strangers together and
just one long table.
Yep.
What do you cook?
Oh gosh, it's every grub is a different ethnic. We've done Moroccan, we've done Chinese, we've done Thai, we've done South African, West African, you name it. So it's a different ethnic every grub.
Do you know how to cook all of that stuff?
Come on, baby.
He learns.
You know I do.
Sometimes he learns on the, make something he's
On the
never
fly,
made before.
huh?
Joe's been there too. He's still alive.
Joe, how was it?
It's great. Actually, I've been to 3 of them.
Oh, have
I
you?
like it so much. The food is just great, and Charlie does the cooking, and you see him in the back cooking away, and it's just, the food is magnificent.
Thank you.
Now you do this at your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
we-
actually, our house is an old hotel. It's one floor of an old hotel downtown. Before we moved there, it was steel printing, but originally it was the Craven House Hotel back in the 20s. And so every floor is 5,000 square feet, so our apartment's 5,000 square feet. So we have a 71-foot hallway, 8 feet wide, 71 feet long, and we put 4 10-foot tables down the hallway and invite 60 people over to eat, and it's the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Oh gosh, it sounds, I'm getting hungry right now thinking about it. Why are you doing this?
Well, the Grub for Peace, we instituted. It's actually a separate grub, and it's to bring police officers together with our community, and specifically our minority friends and neighbors. And so that's the reason. That's the whole reason for it. It's to create a space where there can be, everybody can relax. And there's something that happens when you put your feet under the same table and eat a meal together. It's just
So you're building bridges
Yes.
in your own way.
Yeah.
Grub for Peace. How's this working? What do you think, Captain?
It works great. They've described what they do, but you can't describe the atmosphere when you walk in there. It's very positive, a lot of fellowship, positive dialogue between everyone. When we go there, we go in plain clothes. Charlie will sort of guess who we are, sort of thing. But we go in plain clothes. They don't know who we are. But as conversation goes on and we talk, and Charlie mediates, and we get in conversation with people, and we talk about who we are and what we do. And a lot of times the conversation turns to, why do you join? It's really it's conversation, not confrontation.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's just where once you start talking in that dialogue, you talk about them, what they do, and some of them have never had any contact with police before.
That's
They
right.
they know of us, and they know what we
Right.
do. They see us in uniform, but then you sit next to someone who's like me, being a police officer for 33 years, and they're saying, okay, why do you join? What's in it for you? Or what do you do? How can I help? Or sometimes they want to join or just have a conversation with someone.
So you think this is building bridges then?
I think it's an excellent example of building bridges, if not one of the best ones.
Do you have this, you don't have the same people every time, right?
No, I mean, just different people can come at different times. We always invite people who have come before, but there are always new people we invite also. The other thing is that it's funny, this should be called building bridges, because that's where we feel like we do. There are basically 2 kinds of groups in the world. There's bonding communities, and that's your church, your country club, where people of same ilk or same social status get together, whatever. And there's also bridging communities. And bridging communities are those communities that bring people from disparate areas, different areas, and bring them together and find out, hey, you're not such a bad person after all.
And you sort of like the same things that I do.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And
That's-
so, I'm sorry. The
I
whole
was
thing about the Grub for Peace is that we want people to start seeing one another as human beings and not as types. I look at you. Oh, I know what type you are. No, you don't. Have dinner with me. Let's laugh together. One quick story. There was a black poet friend of ours who was at the first Grub for Peace. And at the first Grub for Peace, there was a lady there who sponsored the dinner financially for us. And she had some socks to give the police officers. So we'd been sitting there having dinner and everything, and she said, "Now, will all the police officers stand up?" And our black poet goes, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know I was surrounded by police."
Oh my goodness.
Surrounded.
Hands up.
That's right. But he was having such a great time, and it just changed his whole attitude. It really did.
See, and that's what you want, isn't
Yes,
it? That
yes.
sounds absolutely wonderful. Because I know you get that when you show up in your wonderful black uniform. People go, "Oh, you need to put my hands behind my back, or my hands up in the air, or do something like that."
Well, people stereotype us just like we're accused of stereotyping other people. And so we have the same problems as everyone else. But when you go to these meetings with Charlie and Ruth, you find out we all have the same fears, the wants and desires, and we still want to do good for society. We just do it different ways.
Yeah.
And once you understand that and talk to them about their families, sports, Greensboro, the food, they do their act, and suddenly it's like we're all like each other.
Yeah.
There is no difference. We have the same, the same fears and the same wants.
I asked a young man one time, I said, if you lived in a house and the house next door to you was for sale and a couple bought it and they have children in the yard, you're fine with it. I said, but if you see a gentleman in his black police uniform moving next door, what does that do? And he says, "Oh, I don't bother him."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, but he's a father, he's a husband,
Yeah,
right,
he's
yes.
he's a community citizen and all that stuff. So we're trying to work hard
Exactly.
to get that done. How many have you done, Grubs for Peace?
We have done 3, and we're about to have a 4th one.
I'm sorry, I got to contradict that.
Oh, we've
We've
done 4?
I've
Okay,
done
we've
five.
done 4.
Okay.
And we're about to have
The
our
5th
5th
one will be, actually, I
cooks,
think
so he
this program will air after the 5th one, which will be December 29th.
Yes.
So you know what the theme is this time, or what the food
I
will be?
usually make up my mind on that about a week ahead of time.
Telling you, he's like a seat of his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so what was the last one?
Gosh, can you remember?
African.
He's African.
It was
yeah.
African.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Good,
right.
yeah.
That's
So how do you know how to cook those foods?
Baby, I'm just talented everywhere.
Oh,
everywhere,
my
baby, but
gracious
loose.
alive.
Come on.
And humble as well.
That's right,
That's
very
right.
humble.
Exactly.
And he really does love to cook. If he's procrastinating about something, he's in the kitchen cooking.
Yeah, that's right. I'd rather cook than anything. So
So-
if I have something really hard to do, I'll go and cook instead.
I was going to say, Charlie's really the moderator during the whole thing. He's a conduit where everyone goes through and comes out. And he breaks the ice, and he's almost like the there's roast sort of thing. Just start the conversation going, and then be like, "Okay, I'm out," sort of thing, and it goes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not genteel. He's a very, he yells at people.
Oh,
that's
basically.
right. That's
Gets them in line. But
So how do you know who to invite?
how do we know who to invite?
Well, you know, we started the Greensboro Grub by way of moving to town, and we didn't know anyone. So we would just meet people at the grocery store or whatever and say, you know, you may be interested in a dinner.
We had these little cards that
Yeah,
we
and
handed
you
out.
may be interested in a dinner we have at our house called Greensboro Grub. And so that's really how it is. But at this point, it's more friends inviting friends.
I see.
So about half the people that show up this next time will be people that their friends invited that we don't have no idea who they are.
So is that the way it happened with the African dinner?
Yes.
So was everyone there African?
No.
No.
It's just
It's
the
just
different
the
ethnic
food.
foods.
The
Yeah.
food is the only thing that is ethnic about it.
Yeah. If we had real Africans there, I'd probably say, this isn't good African food.
Yes, what are you cooking here?
That's right.
But I think for the Grub for Peace, we really did want to sort of make a point to invite our minority, especially African American neighbors and friends. And we have a lot of those contacts through the Grub, the regular Grub. And so we just put the word out that we wanted to have this forum for people to come together, and our friends responded.
Well, the other wonderful thing is that the Greensboro Grub, the monthly dinner we have that's not necessarily for blacks and police, it's gotten to be about 50% black and 50% white. And one of the big reasons for that is a good friend of ours, Josephus Thompson. And Josephus is a black poet here in town, and he has just been, I think I admire him more than any other man I've ever met. He's
my goodness.
he's just wonderful, and he has brought together the black community to the Grub, and he's taken Ruth and I out to places where we don't have white people there, and you know, at first that was uncomfortable because I'd never been in that position before, and then after a while, I tell people, Josephus introduced me to the wonder of the black community, and it's just been wonderful.
So do you talk about building bridges while you're there? or what's the conversation like?
No, it's not really that intentional because, you have committee meetings and you have things. Let's talk about race relations. And then you talk, and then you leave and everything's the same. This is just getting to know each other as people and just loving up on
And
each
Charlie
other.
does encourage us, one of your challenges is take someone from here out for lunch one day, which I've done, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's another way of building a bridge, because you bring them outside
Yes.
the comfort zone, and it works great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
He kind of sends people out with that message of leave here tonight having made a date with somebody else here.
I like that idea of the comfort, get out of the comfort zone.
Right.
Yeah.
So many of us live in that
Amen.
comfort zone and we don't step out.
Yeah.
Preach it, sister.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, I can preach, let me tell
Hallelujah.
you.
Come on.
Sure can.
Well, we have a nonprofit. It's called City 616, and that is its mission, the mission is to bring the diversity of our city together for the advancement of community. Because so often we do tend to isolate, right, in our comfort
Yes, we
zone,
do.
and we don't want to, because we might say something wrong, or we might act in a way
I don't
that
care about
disturbs
that.
people.
That's right.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
doesn't care
that's
about
right. I mean, you have to be, you are careful about what you say and how you say it for fear that someone's going to take it wrong.
That's right, yeah. And so, I mean, maybe we do step all over people, I don't know, but they come to see, oh, I'm sorry, I keep touching. They come to see our hearts, and we see their hearts, and you realize there's something deeper than if somebody stumbles or says something that might offend you, or, and you realize, no, they're here to really communicate grace and love, and that's our agenda for the Grubs. That's how it started out. The only agenda was to love lavishly.
And you know what? And we remain apolitical, but I've had these two comments said to me by several people. Number one, someone says, "Man, I told that guy to come to the Grub because there's not a single Democrat in the whole thing."
Oh.
And then I had someone else say to me, "I told my friend to come to the Grub because there's not a single Republican in the whole thing." So, we're beyond that.
Yeah.
We're just getting down to who we are as people.
Could you feel that when you were there?
Very much so. It's very open dialogue, and you talk about many things. You don't take sides. You just talk, like you do at any other place you go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that sounds delightful. I mean, I wish every person could almost be required to do something like this so that they can get into the comfort zone or get out of their comfort zone and into someone else's to find out more about them. You know how it is when you see a person walk in the room, you decide right away what that person is like or about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that because so many times people are not about that at all.
That's right.
At all. And it's great to find. So how do you finance this? Does it come out of your pocket?
We do take donation at the Grubs. The first couple was Grubs for Peace with the police officers was underwritten by a local business person, but we take donations. It usually covers costs. But other than that, she mentioned City 616. Our website is city616.org, and you can go there and sign up to be on the Grub list, and also you can donate. It's Christmas time.
Oh.
Okay.
We really can give you money?
You really can.
They might edit that part
Gosh,
out.
I never thought about that. Yes, they can give us money.
That's a good idea, yeah.
That's right.
How would you like to see more of these around the city?
I'd love to see more, and I encourage officers to come to the ones that we do just to see it. And I think it'd be great if other people could take up the mantle and do the same thing in their own little way. And I think small victories will get there in the long run.
That's right.
You got to start small and we'll grow.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I see so many groups doing things in their own group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, churches will have a church
Yeah.
dinner, but it's usually their church members
Yeah, that's
or a
right.
community or whatever. And I think what you two are doing is just absolutely fabulous.
Well, you need to come to the next
Yeah.
one.
Well, let me know when it
Okay,
is so
baby.
I can come
You
and
got it.
grub.
You got it, sweetheart.
Well, you know, we did have one woman who came to the first one, and I overheard her talking with Josephus actually, and she said something to the effect of, "Now, what good is this really going to do?"
Oh, really?
And just the point that he made that we have to start with baby steps. And so I feel like this is the first step, and hopefully will blossom into something bigger.
I think it sounds absolutely wonderful. and I appreciate you doing it. I'm sure the police department appreciates
We
it.
do, we do.
Perhaps, I mean, how did you know to go?
I'd actually been to their place before at a wedding, and then they advertised it. I said, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And it turned out that it was a turning experience of my life.
Yeah.
So glad you didn't mention that drug raid.
I'd
No,
actually been
that's
to their
just
place
a joke,
before.
right? That's just a joke, folks. Goodness. Well,
is.
you two have been delightful to talk to. I can't
Thank
reach
you.
all the way over,
Thank
but
you.
thank you so much for
Thank you for
being
having
here
us.
today, and I've had fun talking to you. It's been great. Well, I thank all of you for watching. I'd like to thank our guests for being a part of Building Bridges today. Each of them has shown us how every one of us has the power to make those connections and those partnerships that make all of our lives better. Maybe they have inspired you in some way to reach out and unite police with members of the public. Think about it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm Sandra Hughes. Be safe.
This show was funded in part by the Greensboro Police Foundation, an independent nonprofit organization whose mission is to enhance Greensboro's economic strength by promoting the safest city possible for its residents, workers, and visitors through support of the Greensboro Police Department. For more information about the Greensboro Police Foundation, visit www.greensboropolicefoundation.org.